Welcome to my channel. My name is Jen, and in this video I'm going to be doing a tutorial of a very simple dragon head. And it was supposed to be up last weekend, but you know, life gets in the way and all that crap. But anyway, so you can see I have some reference photos at the top of lizards and reptiles. You don't need to use lizards and reptiles. You can use whatever animal you would like. It's just to get an idea of maybe what you want your dragon to look like. So you can do anything: dragons, lizards, horses. It doesn't really matter. But so first I draw a circle. Very simple. Draw a circle. Draw a line. So this is a 3/4 view. So I'm drawing the line down the middle, 3/4 view, so that you can tell where the middle of the dragon's face is going to be. Now I'm working on the far side where the... Oh, now I'm erasing it because I messed up. And then I just have problems after that. It's like, no, wrong brush. Anyway, see, back to the eraser. Wrong brush. I'm using my tablet, my Huion tablet, so it's not the drawing, like the pen tablet. So I'm like, I'm not used to this. But so eventually I do get back to where I'm supposed to be. Eventually, you know, I could edit this, but it will just laugh at my expense of messing up the brushes, you know. So yeah, I'm using just a basic pencil brush. You can use whatever you want. You can use normal pen and paper. You don't have to do it digitally even. You know, sometimes it's easier using pen and paper rather than digitally if you're just sketching. But see, got the right brush back. So eventually, so finish working more on the far side of the dragon. So you see his side of his head, and then it goes into his nostril eventually, or not. I don't know what I'm doing next. Make your mind up, Jen, what you're doing. Oh, I'm moving the photo down that I kind of use as a reference. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm really organized here. Great. No, yeah, I'm really great at this. Anyway, so move the paper over. So this is the nostril now. See, eventually I do get to the nostril in the little mouth hooky bit part that sometimes dragons have. You can make them have like a smooth mouth, but I give my dragons hooks usually for mouths. Now I'm back to the eye that you would normally see in the eye ridge, which I'm trying to make them kind of match. And then I draw it back to the dragon. So, you know, he's got a neck, you know. This is very rough at this stage. And I'm putting in, I jump around a lot. This is very confusing. Maybe not very good for a tutorial. Probably not. But drawing the mouth, make it kind of loose and kind of teethy kind of thing. And connect it to the spiky mouth. So I'm working on that, you know, so it kind of connects. Yeah, see, they're connected. Woohoo! Back to the far side to kind of match it up. And then the mouth, I'm just kind of trying to add a bit more detail to it. And then back to the eye, which I do decide to give him like an eye, like a round circular eye. Now you don't have to. You can just make it like a very like just a line, really, like he's angry and kind of thing. But I gave this one eyeballs for some reason, you know. I just felt like it. And now I'm trying to make the dragon bigger because he's not fitting on my canvas. So I'm turning off all the reference photos because I do not need them anymore. It was just to get an idea. Move the dragon up so I can draw more on him because he just didn't fit down at the bottom there. And move the page over, which is kind of nauseating, I think. I haven't sped this up really, so it's not too bad. You know, it's not like, oh god, I'm gonna be sick. Anyway, so work on his mouth underneath his, well, his chin, I guess, and the bottom side of his mouth. Right, and make sure it connects to the pointy bit of his mouth because it would look really odd. Drawing now the underside, or was drawing the underside, and I'm just working on the neck. And I kind of curve his neck like he's looking behind himself. Why am I twisting? You can't see me? I keep doing that. Maybe I should have like a little camera on myself. You can see what I'm doing. Well, not at the moment because I'm still downstairs. I'm not upstairs yet. Getting finished, but not quite. And back to the underside of his jaw. And then the nose. I realized he only has one side nose, so I need to fix that. So you would draw like, you could either draw it so that you actually see the nostril, or you could just, like I said, put like a little line, like probably like a check mark, really, so you could see it. But here I give him a nostril kind of thing, and I try to make the things this far away and the things that are close so you would see them. And then I am working on the back. And I just keep jumping around, making sure things line up, and that's pretty much it. I'm done. Under the end of tutorial. No, not really. I need to stop jumping around, but that's what I do. See, I end up giving him a circle for an eye, and then back to the mouth, try to define it a bit more. As I keep going back and forth defining things, and that's the way I work. And I know it drives people kind of batty, but that's just the way I do things. And yeah, it's kind of confusing, but I'm used to it. still working on the neck, and this is where you can clearly see I end up having the curve, start the curve at least, so that he or she or it or whatever is looking behind itself. Like I said, this is a very simple dragon sketch. If it was more complex, like the whole body shot or something, it would have more detail. But I'm just trying to draw a very simple dragon head, which I do when I'm bored and I can't think of anything else to draw. Yeah, which is probably why I decided to draw this. Anyway, I decided, hey, we'll add some horns to it. Now you can add horns, you can add bumps, you can add warts, frills, spikes, whatever you want to your dragon. It's a dragon, you know. Try to make them make sense, but if they don't, it really doesn't matter. And I'm still remembering that the far side, that you wouldn't, you know, anything you draw on the other side, make it a little bit smaller than the closer side so that it looks far away, and angle it the way the angle of the head is, or it won't look correct. I'm shrinking it because it was just a bit too big to make the other horn. But yeah, I'm gonna, excuse me, hiccup because I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. And so anyway, yeah, see, it makes it a little bit smaller. Doesn't have to be like hugely smaller, but just a bit smaller so it looks like it's behind the horn in front. And just see, like, adding little bumps and warts and stuff. And I decided to add, excuse me, I got the hiccups, this is great. Little stomach, neck, little plates, I guess they would call them. I'm not 100% sure what you would call them. Can't remember. They're probably just belly scales, we'll say, underneath his neck. That's what I decided to give him. And I'm just refining the rough sketch line of his neck just so it kind of looks a little better. And erasing lines that I don't need anymore. So I don't get confused. Remember to do that, because if there's too many lines sometimes, you might get confused. Or at least I do. But then again, you know, hey, blame the MS for that. You know, it's messing with my head. But so I'm erasing some lines, that's what I do, you know, just back and forth, and just fix some lines so it looks more like, you know, his head is tilted a little bit away from you, and I realized his eye ridge on the other side was a bit too big, so we'll have to make that a bit smaller. This is a rough sketch, and you're just going over and over and over little details, so make sure they kind of sit a bit right. So yeah, I'm just adding, like I said, a little bit of details to the angle of his head. And I actually don't think I keep this in the final sketch. I'm not really 100% sure. I can't remember. That's great, Jen. No, but, and then add a bit of shading, little rough shading, because the light will be coming from the top right. Yeah, top right, looking at the screen. I had to double check that. You know, probably top right above his head. You know. But anyway, so I lightened it so I can sketch over top of it. Pick a different color or a different thickness of brush or pencil or pen if you're working on a pen. And then I'm just roughly, you know, refining the lines that I made previously. So just keeping these really rough again, because I'm just sketching for the sake of sketching. Nothing spectacular. And adding some little bit more details that I didn't add the first time. Now, this is an advantage. You get the rough sketch done, and then you can add, when you do the final kind of like lines for your drawing or sketch, then you can add some, like I said, bumps, warts, scars, rough texture, skin texture, anything like that. You can add on top of that. It kind of saves time. You don't have to sketch everything in originally. You can add that stuff when you go to do the final thing, so it saves time. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just, maybe it's just me being not so much lazy as an artist. It's just that if I know I'm going to draw it, I don't need it in the sketch because I know I'm going to add it to the final drawing. So I don't add everything that I'm going to have on the final sketch. But then if I do add something to the final sketch and it doesn't look right, then I can just delete it and say it was never meant to be there in the first place. We'll just go with that. But yeah, I decided we'll give him like little horns, like little, like he's sitting in something. I don't think if I keep these or not. I can't remember if I keep the little horn cuppy things that the horns in. I can't quite remember because I don't have the final piece in front of me at the moment. I will in like a couple minutes, but not at the moment. And I'm just darkening underneath his mouth, where his mouth would be, the line of his mouth. And I try to like remember where the light's coming from. And just how slow I draw digitally. It's pretty slow. I'm quicker traditionally, but you know, I'm not 100% used to a digital thing yet, even though I've had them for like 15, 16 years. But I didn't use them for years and years, and only recently got back into it. And you know, blame being busy at uni and stuff for lack of learning how to work digitally. But And then I decided to give him a bit of a nostril in the final thing. See, I didn't add it in the sketch, but I decided it needed it in the drawing because it makes more sense. And then just move it around. And just to see what it looks like without, you can go back and forth between layers to see what lines look like. You can't do it traditionally, obviously, but unless you're tracing over your sketch, like with a light box or something, which you can do, or use a window. If you don't have a light box, just tape your stuff to a window and trace that way. It's handy if you don't have, a light box, because not everybody has a light box. I have a big old one, but I don't use it because it weighs a ton. So yeah, I just use a window or tracing paper to just transfer stuff. But yeah, because my old light box is actually one of those, projectors you used to get in school. Like, God, this is aging me horribly. With the arm on it, and the projector's up on a screen, and you got overlays and stuff. This is really aging me, but that's okay. But yeah. So I've got one of them for a light box. I don't have the projecting part, but I could probably find one on like eBay or something. But I'm just adding more shading to the horns. Yeah, these are horns. And then just more lines where the connecting to the back of his neck would be kind of thing. And now here I'm trying to make it look a little bit more 3D-ish, we'll say. And it kind of works, kind of doesn't. And is it a fail? Maybe not really. I don't really know. Could be a fail. But I was just trying to make the lines make it look more like his head is angled slightly as he's looking behind himself. And it kind of works. I've done better, but for a quick sketch, it took me 20 minutes to do. I'm not really overly, if I was going to color it, that would be the next step. If I was going to color it, the shading would probably be a lot better because I'd have color to help with that. But with a quick black and white sketch, sometimes, unless you spent like a lot of time sketching it, it can be sometimes tricky to get the whole 3D look going, the whole 3D look so that it looks 3D. Learn to talk, Jen. Yeah. But anyway. And then I'm just, like I said, working on the little hook of the beak to them. I don't always give them beaks. Sometimes they just have, like, smiley mouths or just normal mouths, like, like rhino mouths or something. But I often give them beaks just because, why the hell not wouldn't I give them beaks? It makes them look kind of fiercer. And then just adding shadings, like he's got scars or scratches on his skin. That's all pretty much what I'm doing at the moment. It's just adding a bunch of shading. Like I said, you can darken things. You can you can add like little lumps. And I keep saying lumps and bumps many times, but that's okay. What do I do? Yeah, erase things because this didn't quite like the way my whole idea of making it look a little bit more shaded it in the top of his bridge of his nose didn't quite look right. It really didn't. Looking at it, because the lines were a little bit off. Where I had the center line, which would have been the middle of his head, was a little bit too low. It needed to be a little higher. And then add a bit more rough shading. Like I said, it's just back and forth shading. That's pretty much all this is. It's just until you get what you want it to look like, as many scratches or no scratches, you're going to have a very smooth looking dragon, It doesn't really matter. And at finishing the that's not breast, I'm not doing breastplates. I keep hiccuping. That's really rude of me. Sorry. What am I doing now? Speak, Jen. This is the neck, stomach plates, or whatever the hell you want to call them. They're probably called something. Who the hell knows? I mean, I probably should know this because I've had snakes, and a lot of my dragons look like snakes, so who knows. But I'm just adding shading so it makes it look a little less flat, so they look more round. Now, if I was doing this like golds or yellows, it would probably look more shiny, but it doesn't, because it's not colored, it's just black and white. So the trick is to make it look sort of roundish and 3D-ish. So just keep shading until it looks the way you want it to, which is not helpful. I'm well aware of that. It's not much of a tutorial when you should be saying you should do it this way, but when it comes to shading, it's pretty much how you like it is, unless you're getting like marked on working a specific way, say at like school, uni, college, whatever, shade however the hell you want. Until you like the way it looks, really, is what it comes down to. And then I'm just, like I said, darkening the neckline so he looks, like I said, he's kind of turning. Yes, he is. So just kind of really rough lines. I actually sketched like this with a pencil. It's really rough. A lot quicker with a pencil, but really rough. And then I'm adding some more shading to his neck because at the moment it looks really flat. So I need to make that stand out a bit more and look a little rounded, like his neck is oval, you know, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. And then, actually not at the moment I'm working on the fins, spikes, no, they're more like fins on the back of his neck. And so these are really rough. I'm not even really paying attention to the previous lines. I'm just making them really rough, so they look really rough. Like he's been in a few battles, a few fights with either food or like another dragon or something. I don't really know what would fight a dragon. I'm trying to think of mystical creatures that would fight a dragon. Minotaur? No, that's too small. We got dragons, we got serpents, we got the gods, like all that stuff. I don't actually know what would fight a dragon. I really don't really know if it's flying through the air, if anything could fight a dragon. Who knows? Maybe. Very well could be something that could fight a dragon. I'm trying to think of something. I don't really know. If you can think of something, let me know, because I really can't think of anything right now that would purposely take down a dragon. I don't really know. But I don't know how, I can't think of something. And all my mythological, I can't even speak, knowledge, I should know. But like I said, he's making these really rough, the back fins, spikes, whatever you want to call them, probably fins, like I said. Making them rough, that's pretty much all I'm doing. I'm just trying to dirty up the dragon, we'll say, so he looks like a little darker than he is. And I realized I need to shade underneath his mouth, so it looks like I could have left that without shading, but I like to have a bit of shading underneath his mouth, like his lower jaw, just so it looks like it's underneath the top part of his jaw, which is what it is. And I'm just cross-hatching here with the pencil here, which it's just a normal pencil I downloaded off the Clip Studio assets thing. There's all kinds of stuff in there, so if you get Clip Studio, which I think is on sale at the moment, there's all kinds of pencils and stuff if you don't like the brushes that it does have, even though the brushes that are there are really pretty damn good to begin with. But there's other brushes you can get on their assets thing and stuff. And this is just a pencil brush that I decided to try out, which I quite like. So I'm glad I downloaded it. Not that it took much time to download, but because thankfully we have a fast net connection, thankfully. Because I could never go back to dial-up. I would rip my hair out, and the dial-up noise, the yee kind of noise. I couldn't deal with that again. I really couldn't. So I like the connection we have. Anyway, we're not talking about the connection we have. Back to the dragon. But yeah, so you see, I just build up things, the lines that I previously made, and darken areas where I want things to get a little bit darker. And whether I just use cross-hatching or circles or flat lines, just to create kind of a rough 3D kind of looking creature. Like he maybe could be something that could exist in life. Obviously it's very simple, and if I was going to draw like a piece, like a colored piece, it would look a little different, a little bit more finished. But this is just a very rough design for dragon. I know I keep saying that, but I keep saying that. And like I said, at this point I'm just adding shading over and over again, which I could have sped this up. I really could have sped this up, but I didn't, and that's probably my fault. Not very good on my part, because I'm a lazy editor. It's really what it comes down to. I'm a lazy editor, because I'd rather just draw rather than edit things, and I have lots of things I want to draw, so I'd rather do that than spend the time editing, which is a problem. But I'm hoping to get better at it, but I don't see that happening. But hey, you never know. Things, sky might fall, or pigs might fly, or whatever else things you can think of that things say. What am I doing now? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm working on the bottom of his jaw still. It's working so slow, I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, so just darkening things up, that's what I'm doing. I couldn't see what I was doing. I was like, oh, did I pause the video or anything accidentally? No. But just darkening underneath, like I said, really trying to darken that areas that the sun wouldn't be hitting, or any kind of light source wouldn't be hitting underneath his actual mouth, lips part, even though he doesn't have lips. You can draw a dragon with lips. I have seen it, but I don't really tend to do dragons with lips. I just have lines like this and our teeth, and then that's about it for me. Not really caring. I'm not always liking the lip look, but hey, to each their own, and just adding, like I said, darkening that area so that the sun doesn't hit that area, so it will be in darkness as much as possible, and now I'm adding little bits of hair, fur, I don't really know, to the bottom of his chin, just because I thought, why the hell not? you know, I just thought about doing it. And I often sometimes do that. I'll add different textures. If I, you know, this would look better colored, but just like we'll add some fur hair string texture to the bottom of his chin, you know, just to give it a bit more detail to it, so it wasn't so such an empty space. But this is the final version here. I changed the color to green just because I felt like it. But yeah, you can see I darkened. You can see how dark now the lower jaw looks, which is better, you know, rather than being as light as the top part. But yeah, so for a finished sketch, I'm not, you know, I don't feel too bad about it. I don't mind it. I could probably refine it a bit more, but this was just to show how I draw dragons and maybe give somebody an idea about how they could draw a dragon head. But yeah, so that's my video. I really need to start writing scripts for these. So thank you for watching, and what are you supposed to say? Like, subscribe, click the little bell thingy, and please come back next Saturday, where I will try to upload on time this again, hopefully, cross my fingers. But yeah, thanks again for watching.